Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Reds, and this is a very special episode and a special series I am starting for this channel. And the series is going to be based on asking GROK questions. GROK is a AI chatbot on Twitter or X. It conversates back with you, so if you talk to it, it can talk back to you. Ask it questions, it asks you questions back. And in this first episode, it's going to be all about Liverpool Football Club, and Liverpool-related questions. I will ask it and have conversations with it. In this first episode, it is specifically about Liverpool's ownership, FSG. So the question I asked GROK was, "Hey GROK, what are your thoughts on FSG's ownership of Liverpool?" This went on to a conversation which was very, very intriguing, if I must say. They answered the first question. They give me back questions, and we sort of, as it says here, a chat bot, and it's a conversational chat bot. It was a very, very intriguing conversation between myself and GROK. So I will pull up each time each piece of imagery I've gotten, what answers they give it me and what answers I give it back. Very intriguing, by the way. So it's a very good episode. This one, I do like this. So the first question, obviously, I asked GROK was, "Hey GROK, what are the thoughts on FSG's ownership of Liverpool?" To which GROK replied, "Then, as GROK, I can give you an overview on Fenway Sports Group ownership of Liverpool Football Club based on what's out there. FSG, led by John W. Henry and Tom Werner, took over Liverpool in October 2010, for £300 million, stepping in when it was a financial mess. Since then, they've turned it around things in a big way. Liverpool's now valued at £4 billion, a testament to how they've grown the club commercially." Then they went on to say FSG's approach is all about sustainability. They don't splash the cash like some state-backed clubs, instead relying on smart recruitment and data-driven decisions. The strategy paid off. Champions League win in 2019 and a league title in 2020, ending in a 30-year wait. They've also invested heavily off the pitch, revamping Anfield and building a state-of-art training ground in Kirkby. Pretty solid moves, right? But this is where it gets very interesting. But it's not all roses. Some fans reckon FSG are too cautious, especially when it comes to spending the transfer market or locking down big stars like Salah, Van Dijk and Alexander-Arnold with new contracts. The self-sustaining model means they hunt for up-and-coming talent rather than ready-made superstars, which can feel like a gamble when you're competing the likes of Man City. And there've been missteps, like the Super League fiasco in 2021, which sparked a huge backlash until they backed off. This is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Obviously, they talked about the investment on the pitch. They haven't specifically. By the way, FSG didn't invest into the training ground and the stand. What happened there was they took loan, and the club now paid the FSG back through the club. That is the self-sustaining way. It was very good. Would have been nice if FSG did invest their own sort of money into that, so we had money elsewhere for other things. But it is what it is. It's a very, very good thing that they did there with the training ground and the stands. Brings so much better for the club and so much better for people coming into the ground as well. It makes a very interesting point there about being cautious. Cautious is a very, very good word. Use Salah, Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold also brought up in terms of the contracts. And again, it says there, upcoming stars, talent rather than ready-made superstars. I think fans like myself and fans out there wouldn't mind a little mixture of both. We're not too bothered about ready-made superstars, but as long as we do enough to ensure the recruitment's good enough for that season and the future seasons. I'll keep going on and see what else was said after that as well. So as you can see here, overall FSG's brought stability and success, but their focus on balance sheet over trophy chasing can rub fans the wrong way. They're not perfect, but they've done a lot more right than wrong. What do you think? Do you rate their tenure, or do you reckon Liverpool's outgrown them? This is where I get my answer. So I start off by saying I think Liverpool are too big for them. They don't need to buy superstars, sorry, but then leave big gaps in the team and relying on the managers to overperform. This is what I went on then and said. So yeah, as I did say, I think Liverpool are too big for them. They don't need to buy superstars, but they leave big gaps in the team and rely on the managers to perform. A few seasons they've dropped off because of this approach, which then goes against being sustainable. Letting big players go for free also goes against sustainability, which, fair point, as GROK answered there. A fair point, there's definitely a case to be made that Liverpool's ambitions might be outpacing FSG's approach. The idea that they lean too hard on the managers like Klopp to work miracles with a squad that sometimes thin in key spots hits home when you look at seasons like 2022-2023. Injuries and a lack of depth, especially in midfield, saw them drop. So then they went on to say injuries and a lack of depth, especially in midfield, saw them drop after a few years of punching above their weight. Very, very intriguing way of putting that there by GROK, punching above their weight. And I think that says a lot about how Jurgen Klopp has done and how Arne Slot has done as well. Relying on a genius like Klopp to overperform can mask gaps. But when it doesn't pan out, the cracks show, hardly the picture of sustainability when you're slipping out of the top four, which a lot of fans seem to forget that we slipped out of the top four within a couple of seasons of winning the league, and that is potentially the case again potentially next season. You don't know that because when we're letting the likes of Salah go, Van Dijk go, Trent go, it seems like we're happy to take a backward step. Therefore, our expectations and our reality of building on success is going to be flawed. It's going to be impacted. We want to continue challenging every single season. And the contract stuff, obviously going on to what Klopp said here, and the contract stuff, letting players like Salah, Van Dijk, or even Wijnaldum back in the day run their deals down and potentially walking free is a head scratcher. It's not just losing talent, it's torching millions in transfer value they could reinvest. For a club that prides itself on financial smarts, that feels like a contradiction. They've nailed bargains like Robertson or Matip, but when you're plugging holes like a proper massive defensive midfielder until recently, it's less sustainable and more reactive. And I've always been going across this. FSG's approach is very reactive rather than proactive. And that's cost us in the past. It really has cost us in the past. We're always reacting to things. When we got rid of Lovren, with 3 centre backs, 2 of them injury prone, went into that season then, and the injury back, the centre backs got injured. Unfortunately, all 3 got injured, and we didn't really react. And then until Fabinho got injured, who was covering the centre back position, and got Ben Davies and Kabak really late on in the transfer window, a reaction rather than being proactive. Saw the injuries to the centre backs in December and get one early on in January, or replacing Lovren in January in summer. We could have easily replaced Lovren in summer and still waited for Konate further down the line. That cost us that season. We were top of the league in December and dropped off and just about made top 4. And that is a big reason a lot of people seem to forget as well. Not plugging holes like a defensive midfielder until recently. On the flip side, FSG might argue they've built a platform where Liverpool can compete without drowning in debt or needing a sugar daddy. Funny words there, GROK. But if the club's too big for them, it's maybe the fan base and legacy expect relentless trophy challenges, not just stability. Do you think a different owner with deeper pockets would have pushed Liverpool further by now, or is it more about FSG tweaking their formula? Very intriguing question, that. Some people have always wanted different owners and with deeper pockets or whatever, but it is about tweaking the formula for me. And I've always been open to FSG changing their ways a little bit to ensure that we are challenging every single year. And to which I answer, FSG are rich themselves, but they just do bare minimum. Not even investing in their own money into the stadium and training facilities instead of club paying it back. We just want owners that are willing to give the manager enough tools to go and challenge for trophies. We don't have to buy superstars, but enough quality and depth. I've spelled "and" there wrong. I do apologise for that. And depth for managers not to have to run their players into the ground every year. You're spot on about FSG's wealth. They've got the resources, with John Tribute Henry's net worth alone pushing past $4 billion. Yet their approach feels like they're running Liverpool as a business first, club second. The stadium and training ground upgrades like the main stand expansion or the Kirkby facility are top notch, no question. But funding them through a club revenue rather than dipping into their own pockets does sting for fans who want that extra commitment. It's less owners investing and more club borrowing against itself, which keeps things tight. Your point about giving the managers tools without chasing Galacticos is key. Liverpool's system thrives on finding value like Jota or Konate, but when injuries hit and form dips, the lack of depth shows, which we've seen again this season. We've now seen the lack of depth that we do have when they're starting to get tired. Klopp had to squeeze every drop out of that 2019-2020 squad, and by 2022-2023, you could see it. You could absolutely see it. That is very, very important there. Klopp had to squeeze every drop. And going on the quadruple one, when we went on the quadruple one, and we came second, we won the cup double. Our players that season, it wasn't even about. I think that was just everyone literally pushing everything that they had left of themselves. They had nothing left of themselves by the end of that season, and that was just sheer hard work that season. Sheer hard work. We weren't incredible. We weren't as good as we were in the title winning, Champions League winning seasons. That season was just pure hard work and really running ourselves into the ground, I thought. So he said there, Klopp had to squeeze every drop out of the 2019-2020 squad, and by 2023, you could see the burnout. A few more bodies, say a robust midfielder or a versatile forward, could have kept the engine humming without breaking the bank. Instead, it's felt like the bare minimum, banking on managers' magic to stretch a thin squad across 4 competitions. Fans are asking for £100 million superstar every window, just enough quality and numbers so the likes of Edison or Milner aren't grinding through 50 games a season in their 30s. FSG's model has delivered trophies, but it's fragile. A rich owner might have splashed the cash and risked debt, but even within FSG's framework, there's room to loosen the purse strings a bit. Give Slot or whoever's next a deeper bench to sustain challenges. Very, very interesting words there. Very interesting words. The fact that we did grind these players down when Henderson fell off a cliff. Fabinho was done quite early. Really, he was still a young player for the age that he was. Again, we can thank FSG for their trophies and what they have delivered. They have done some very, very good things, and we have won the Premier League under their ownership. But as it says there, it's very, very fragile. Although we're not asking for big don't splash the cash. There is plenty of room to loosen the purse strings, and we never ever see it. That's the issue. So it went on to ask me, do you reckon they'll shift that mindset, or is it just who they are? Where I answered, they've had years to change that mindset, which they have. Unfortunately, they won't. They seem to be losing even more interest in the club itself by hiring people to run everything. It seems Liverpool is just an asset now that will continue to make them money. We could win the title and still go backwards next season, and things won't change. It's happened before. See, this is where Liverpool fans get the worry from, is because it has happened before. We're just basing everything on our experiences of the fans over the years. We have won the title before, but like I said, we've gotten to the Europa League within a few seasons. No real top club really does that. Not when they're supposed to be sustained at the top. You never ever saw Fergie's Man United do that. You really didn't see Man City's Pep Guardiola's City this time until like this season and dropped off a little bit. But still, they'll probably still make Champions League. But they've won four titles in a row. They can sort of probably get away with a season off. We didn't do that, and we still had these massive drop-offs due to the lack of investment. And then GROK answered, "You're right. They've had over a decade to tweak their approach, and if anything, they're doubling down." Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Bringing in folks like Michael Edwards and now Richard Hughes to handle the football side, while FSG steps back, does feel like they're treating Liverpool more of like a portfolio piece than a passion project. Which I did ask the question there, though. I do feel like they've losing interest in football by giving Edwards and Hughes the sort of ways to run the football club. I don't mind that the running the football club. Also, these are football people. I'd rather football people run the football club. But it just seems like FSG are stepping back, and as this says here, where GROK says here, it feels like we're more of a portfolio piece than an actual project. We want to be a project or a part of. They want us to succeed. It's a machine that prints money, global brand, loyal fan base, consistent revenue. Why mess with it when it's already turning a profit? That's the vibe they're giving off. And as a fan, that there, why mess with it if it's turning a profit? That's all. To me, that's all they care about. Is just money, 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 and that's where I can't. It doesn't sit right with me, if I'm honest. The cycle you mentioned, win big, then stall tracks with history. After the 2019 Champions League final, they didn't build on it enough, and 2020-2021 was a slog. Staying after the Premier League title, a few key signings, sure, but not enough to keep the momentum. Winning the title this season under Slot could mean another peak and plateau, a shining moment followed by a lean summer, banking on the manager to overachieve again. And it could be setting up as that. And this is where Liverpool fans get worried. It could be setting up as that. Losing Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is a big backward step. Went on to say then, it's frustrating because the potential's there. The club's pulling in £600 million plus revenue yearly now, yet the squad investment doesn't match that fully match that growth. For FSG, Liverpool's an asset, and that's quadrupled in value under their watch. Mission accomplished. But for fans, it's about legacy and trophies, not just balance sheets. Seems like a disconnect that's baked in at this point. What do you think it'll take them to sell up? Fan pressure, a mega offer, or just boredom? And that's why I responded, fan pressure is hard as a few are still not open for discussion, and simply just say FSG saved us. Whilst they did save us from previous ownership, it doesn't mean they can get away with things. I think a big offer would be the one to prize them away as they can venture into other sports they have looked at. A good answer? I think it is. I think it is. I responded, you're hitting a real divide there. FSG's saviour status from the Hicks and Gillette mess still carries weight for some. And it should do, they did save us. We can't thank them for that. And it's true they pulled Liverpool out of a hole. Administration was looming and they steadied the ship. But that gratitude's got an expiration date. This is where I get into it. It's like we can thank them, but it doesn't mean we're in debt to them forever. The gratitude's got an expiration date. It's like thanking a doctor for saving your life, then realising they're skimping on a few follow-up cares. A big offer feels like the most likely exit ramp. They're already deep into sports, Red Sox, Pittsburgh Penguins, even sniffing around NASCAR and the NBA. Liverpool's a cash cow. But if a sovereign wealth fund or a billionaire drops £4.5 billion on the table, that's a tidy profit from their £300 million investment. They could cash out, diversify, and let someone else take the reins. Fan pressure might nudge them, but it's fractured. Protests like the Spirit of Shankly matches haven't fully swayed. So it says there, fan pressure might nudge them, but it's fractured. Fan pressure might nudge them, but it's fractured. Protests like the Spirit of Shankly matches haven't fully swayed the old outs, who still see FSG as their lesser evil. The sticking point is whether that the buyer's vision aligns with the fans what they want. Not just stability, but a squad built to dominate. FSG's legacy might end up as saved us, grew us, then left us wanting more. What kind of owner do you reckon Liverpool need? Someone with oil money or just a richer version of FSG's model? To which I responded, someone that wants to win, or at least do their part in pushing to win. We don't expect to win every year, but we also don't expect to have drop-offs after winning and relying on managers to rely on the same players every year, whilst keeping our best players to build again. If they are in it for the money, then that's fine, as long as they ensure. I don't know why I put ensure. I do apologise. It is ensure. If they're in it for the money, that's fine, as long as they ensure it doesn't affect the team on the pitch and we can have sustained challenges. GROK's response, that's a solid vision. Owners who prioritise winning as much as fans do, without the boom and bust cycles. You're not asking for a trophy parade every May, just a setup where success builds on itself instead of crumbling because the squad's stretched thin. Prioritise winning as much as fans do, without boom and bust cycles. You're not asking for a trophy parade every single season, every single May, and just a setup where success builds on itself instead of crumbling because of the squad stretched thin. Keeping stars like Salah or Van Dijk locked down, while adding enough quality to avoid those post-title drop-offs like 2021, 2023, would show intent. It's less about splashing oil money and more about reinvesting clubs earn £600 million revenue smartly, so managers aren't running the same 11 into the ground. If the next owners are in profit, that's fine. Liverpool's a goldmine, but they'd need to prove it by insulating the pitch from their spreadsheets. So basically, separating spreadsheets and pitch away from each other. Sustained challenges mean depth, not just diamonds in the rough, and willingness to spend what the club earns to keep the engine purring. FSG model isn't far off. They just lack the appetite to push it further. Someone with their financial savvy, but a hungry edge. And it ends with a question at the end as well, which I didn't bother answering that. I didn't go on further because I think it's pretty much answered what I wanted to answer anyway. Think a Todd Bowley with better instincts or a state fund with a football brain could fit the bill. I don't really want a state-owned thing. I just, like I said it in the answer I give GROK. I just want an owner that cares about the football on the pitch. They can make money as an ownership. You will make money, and as GROK said there, we're a cash cow. We're an absolute beast of a club. We will make anyone money that does buy us or does purchases, no matter how much they buy us for, especially FSG, bought us for £300 million, certainly made enough money off us owning us, and will therefore make billions if they do sell us. But what I want is to make sure that on the pitch is being looked after and is making sure that we do enough every single season to at least challenge. And like I said to GROK, look, I'm not expecting to win the title every single season. What am I expecting is to at least challenge every single season, giving the likes of Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot world-class managers who have shown to me, especially Arne Slot this year, has shown to me that he can win multiple trophies and he can challenge every single year if he's backed right. That is the big thing. And we're going into this summer now, potential loser. We've already lost Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think everyone's grasped that now. I think everyone's accepted that now. But losing potentially Salah and Van Dijk as well, that to me is a big, big spit in the face of Arne Slot and what he's done this season. It's like, well done for your success, but we're going to take a backward step now. And that's not on. That's just simply not on. We should be building on what we've got now, not starting again. Yes, we might not win the title next season. And no one's expecting to win the title next season. But what should happen next season is certainly not a top 4 fight. What should happen next season is a title challenge again. Defend that title that we've won this season.